Let's wait until my neighbor is not in his yard. I thought it would be kind of nice to give you guys a view of our first snowfall of the season as it just starts sticking now. It also means I'm at an awkward angle that I'm not loving for myself, but that's okay. I was about to say this is going to be a very exciting video, but that's kind of a lie. I might not have so much fun. I'm not very excited for this video because I will be finishing series that I'm not looking forward to and that I put off. It might also be continuing series that I put off because I have 2 books on my TBR this month that are the end of a series, pretty much, that I am not looking forward to reading because I didn't have so much fun with the first ones, but I didn't dislike them enough to DNF. And now that I'm this far, I'm like, I have to just finish them. So that's 2 books. So for the third one, I might continue a series where I didn't love the first book. We will see how this goes. So we are starting with something that, if you watched my videos, which granted, I haven't been doing this long and not many people have watched my videos, but if you have, you know that I was rereading the Mortal Instruments series, which I loved in high school, and I never got to the last 2 books. So I read the second last one. I don't even know how many are in this series. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I read book 5 last year, and I really wanted to finish the series, and I just needed a break, so I didn't. So now I am reading City of Heavenly Fire, which is a large book. She's hefty. I did take the dust jacket off already. I've only read the first 2 chapters, I think, and then I realized the inside has some cool art. Except for, I'm assuming this is Alec, and that's not how I would picture him. Everyone else, yeah, maybe. I started this morning, February 1st, and I already think that how did I already forget their names? Blackthorns. I already think that the Blackthorns could use a family tree in this book. I wish they had one. There's like half siblings, and I think there's seven siblings altogether, and I don't know who belongs to who and what's going on. I don't know that I rated any of the first ones upon my reread more than 3 stars, which is a fine rating for a book, but when you get this far in a series, it's like, is it going to get better? And I remember when I read these, I think I read most of them up until the ones that weren't published anymore in like grade 11 or 12. And I loved them the first time, and now I'm not loving them, but I'm liking them enough to keep going. I'm curious what's gonna happen. I think I liked Clary before, and then when the movie came out, I love Lily Collins. So I was like, wow, I love her even more. Upon a reread, Clary is very annoying. I can't really handle her. So that's maybe my biggest problem, is we're following someone I don't like, and I didn't really like Simon either. I didn't like him so much the first time, and now I'm actually liking him more. Isabel, I think, is my favorite person in these books, so I hope we get a lot of her. Otherwise, this is going to be even more difficult to read, and I'd like to get as far as I can today. It's like 3 o'clock, so I'm going to read hopefully till dinner-ish. We will see after that. Hopefully can read a lot this weekend, just to get this over with. We're also going away next weekend, and I'd rather not bring this along. The next book I want to read is quite a bit shorter, and I also might read a book in between, just to like not have to bring a book I don't want to read on a vacation. All of that being said, let's get into this. Let's read this beautiful snowy view behind me. Oh, I do love it. I do love looking at it. You know, if I didn't have to drive in the snow, I actually would love it. Oh, and walking the dogs when there's no sidewalks is kind of annoying. I can't wait to be done this, have it on my shelf, and not have to think about it anymore, to be honest. At least it's big writing. This got picked for my February TBR because I had to pick the books with the biggest font, and this has nice big font. So it's over 600 pages, but is it really? It's over 700 pages. Oh, I'm not going to remember who everybody is. Okay, so far I'm liking Clary. Let's hope it stays that way. She can be funny when she's normal and sharing. That's actually maybe my problem. Everybody in this book keeps secrets. Not one person doesn't. Because I really like Alec with Magnus, but all of them just keep secrets from each other, and it's very unhealthy. Just communicate better, everybody. Even the people I like, not great communicators. I am here with an update, and it is that it's only a couple of days later, and then I am way past this. I am not loving it still, but I cannot bring myself to DNF the last book in a series, especially, what is this? What did I say this is? 5, 6, 5. I think it's the 5th. It's dragging. I was really enjoying it at the beginning, and then I realized I'm actually liking the parts with the people that are not the main characters the best. I still love Isabel, but she kind of pissed me off in the middle, but that's okay. She's like human with flaws, mostly human with flaws. I am realizing that I can't stand Jace. I really liked him in the first book, and ever since then, he really doesn't have any redeemable traits. And I think that it's just Clary and everybody else tiptoeing around him and saying things so that he doesn't get offended. You know what? He seems like a good person with good intentions, and I think he just needs to love himself a little bit more before he can bring all of these people into his life, and he's really not ready for a relationship. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I still love Magnus. I still love Isabel. I like Simon better every single book. All the stuff that's happening in, oh my goodness, do I even remember all the names? All the stuff that's happening in the Shadowhunter community. What is it called? Like Alaris? That's not the right word. Is more interesting than the stuff that the main characters are going through. I also was realizing I don't think I like Jocelyn's mom very much. I think I've never seen her have a conversation with her that I'm like, oh yeah, I see why you're really close with your mom, because I don't understand it. I think she should be a much more rebellious teenager based on how she was raised and the mom she grew up with, but whatever. That comes from somebody who does have a close relationship and friendship with my mother, and she would never say half the stuff that Jocelyn says. I got halfway through. I think I just got to like 60% last night, and I decided to listen to the audiobook most of work today at like 1.8 times speed. I can't do 2 times. It's just too fast. I will say I love the narrators. They're great. What chapter am I on? I forget. But I looked at it while I turned my car on, and then it went on the screen, and it said it was 90 minutes, this chapter. This chapter's 90 minutes that I'm on. I think I also still have like 20% left to go, and that doesn't make sense to me because it should kind of be winding down now. So I'm not sure if it's going to set up the next one or if this stuff actually matters. I am in the middle of this 90-minute chapter, so I'm going to paint my nails while I listen. Here's the thing. I'm sitting here about to put my audiobook on to do my nails, and all I want to do, oh look, I kind of bought the same color. All I want to do is do something else. Anything else. That's the problem with this book. Oh, I gotta read again? I don't want it. I wanna watch YouTube or start a different book. Okay, I lied. I thought I had 20% left. I have 14% left. That's not much better. 3 hours, but if I listen at 1.8, it's an hour. It's more than an hour and a half. Okay, here we go. You know what? These are still on. This was my Everest, okay? This was my Everest. I finished the audiobook yesterday. I listened to, I think, the last 40-ish% of the book on the audiobook. And the whole time I was like, I know this narrator. She was so good. It was Sophie Turner. So if you would like to potentially enjoy the book a little bit better than you would if you were reading it, listen to that version because she's great. I did not enjoy, okay? There. I'm like hesitant to even rate it. On Goodreads, I gave it a 2 stars, which feels generous, which sucks. It got good here, and then here it was bad again because it was just setting up the next series, and I'm definitely not going to read that. So I'm sorry if you're a diehard Mortal Instruments fan. I get it for the first one. Some people say the original trilogy. I don't feel that way. I'm glad I'm doing this video just to get some of these books off of my list, but I'm going away for the weekend and I'm hesitant to bring another book that I haven't wanted to read, but I think I have to do it. I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say other than what I've already said. I might read, I feel like there's a little spin-off between Magnus and Alec. That's the only thing I would consider reading, I think. So they are my favorite characters. Magnus just kind of needs his own series for his whole life. But other than that, I'm not interested. I have nothing else to say. Honestly, if you want to read it, do it. Some people hate having books that they didn't like on their bookshelf, and I say no. This is a trophy because I made it through 6 of these. So I'm going to put her on my bookshelf right now. She's going up there immediately. This series, much better. I only enjoyed one part of this book, and it wasn't even about this book. It was about this book. Done. I'm done. I'm done. I feel like I need to change this now. I feel like the bear could stay with Emily Wilde. She's very... You know why else? I bought this when I was reading that in Nelson and Revelstoke, so that can stay there. Anyway, I don't have the next book on me because I brought it to work intending to read it today and then I didn't. But I'm reading The Final Gambit next. I'm going to start it. I was going to start it now. That's a lie because this is not. Yeah, I was going to say I'm going to start it now, but that's a lie because I need to edit last week's video that you might have watched. That is going up today, so I can't really start reading right now. But that's the other book I'm dreading, and then I'm going to bring a third along. I feel like I failed a tiny bit because I did read Final Gambit and all I got was like a couple of clips of me actively reading it. Yeah, I read it on the ferry to the island where we went with our friends for the weekend. And then I think the next day I read it in one sitting in the hot tub. And like I wasn't gonna pull out my camera and film with my friends. And, we were all just kind of hanging out, reading, playing games. It was a great weekend. But I also read an entire book for this video and didn't tell you guys how it was going, which is kind of sad because of the trilogy, this was my favorite book. I actually really enjoyed it, which is why I could read it in one sitting. I think the other two I also read in reading vlogs, but it was like, oh, I'm gonna read this just to get it over with, and this one was like, oh my goodness, I kind of want to see what happens. So that is really cool, actually. I'm glad I feel that way. That being said, I did rate it the same as the other ones because for me it's a 3 stars series. Maybe I should have put it to 3.5. I think the reason I enjoyed this book more than the other ones was because the mystery in it felt solvable for the regular human being, and like it was one large mystery instead of a lot of little things is kind of how it felt. Like they were trying to figure out one thing, which was good. I think I kept thinking, it sucks when it's not the first book of a series and it actually kind of finishes it and you can't really talk about what happens, but I will say I've never been a fan of love triangles. They're my least favorite romance trope, I think. And this one just kind of, I don't like it. I have gone every book with liking and disliking different characters, which is very interesting. I think if there was more Nash in all of these books and this whole series, I would like it a lot more, which makes sense because he's the oldest and they all act their age. I am a bit sick, if you can't tell. I got a cold like Saturday night while we were there, which kind of sucked, but I did say to Zach about halfway through, I think we were driving to the place, and I should have turned on my camera, honestly, to film, because I said to him, I have a problem when everybody's lying all the time. I like an unreliable narrator who doesn't know, and maybe somebody who keeps secrets. I'm gonna guess that's a spam call. They'll leave a voicemail if it's important. What was I saying? I like an unreliable narrator, but I find it difficult when every character is lying for the sake of their sanity or for the sake of the story, because halfway through I was like, what is she going to make the ending that I just have to go along with because I can't trust anything. Like, I feel like it's like a magic system that's a little bit broken because you can make anything possible, is how I feel about so many characters that lie about things. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of just what I was thinking the whole time. I did get a voicemail. Weird. The whole time you're kind of wondering if there's this character that you should trust or not trust. And I feel like that brings in the love triangle a little bit, but it actually was just kind of annoying. And like, you didn't need that aspect for me to question her. I don't know. I think I maybe just don't like being inside of Avery's head. The writing wasn't as bad in that. Like, I will still read the Natural series. I will not continue this one. What's the next one? The Brothers Hawthorne. I'm not gonna read it. I still am not a huge fan of Jameson. I go back and forth on liking Grayson. It's just not the series for me, which is fine. I am glad I read it and finished it, and I'm glad that I actually enjoyed this one. I think we're gonna leave that there. And now today I'm going to start. I did read a different book in between because I was like, I'm on vacation. I need to know that I'm going to enjoy what I'm reading. And so I read a completely different book, which ended up being a 5-star. Maybe I'll do a February wrap up because there's going to be a few I think that I read this month that won't make it into reading vlogs, but really enjoyed it. And now I'm going to start Beautiful Darkness. I feel like I was going to pick something that was on my February TBR from my TBR jar, but it honestly would have been a lie if I picked anything other than this book, because this is the series that honestly a couple of times last year I took off of my TBR cart with the idea that I would unhaul them, and then I thought, you know, I should give the second one a chance, and then I took them all off again, and then it's like, oh, I should just read one more, because I didn't hate the first one, I just thought it was too long. And I read Beautiful Creatures in February 2023, so it feels right to read the second book exactly 2 years later, which is kind of sad. So I am going to read Beautiful Darkness. I'm going to start now. It is about 1 o'clock on Tuesday. I go back to work tomorrow. I always try to book off an extra day after my trip, which I'm glad I did now that I'm sick, but just gonna need to like do laundry and settle back in instead of coming home at 4 p.m. and then just kind of chilling. So I do have some laundry going and stuff. Anyway, so it's 1 p.m. I'm back to work tomorrow. I'm going to try to finish this book between today and Thursday, I hope, so that I can edit this video Friday, Saturday. I have been dreading reading this. I do not want to read it. And it's kind of fun because now it becomes a YA series video, I guess. 2 of them were finishing series. I wish I had a 3rd series that I was dreading to finish, which I just don't. So it will be continuing a series instead. I don't think I need to do a recap on the first book, but I might just in case. I remember a surprising amount when I keep trying to think about the book. So I think I'm just going to go in and see if it sits well and what's going on. Ethan, then he met mysterious newcomer Lena. I think I also didn't think that they fit. The romance, I think, didn't fit right for me. But this feels very Vampire Diaries without the vampires, I think. I'm feeling really sick. I'm going to have a big glass of water and then maybe some tea and just try to feel better. Let's keep going. Let's read book number 3 for this. Ooh, maybe this has an audiobook option because that could be a good idea. My voice it's given up. Okay, let's see how this goes. I'm going to read as much as I can today. Like I said, it's 1 o'clock. I hope that I can read until at least 4. Let me try to read for 3 hours. I think that's close to when Zach comes home, and then we'll probably walk the dogs together. We're both a bit sick, so we'll see how that goes. They had the best weekend, though. They came with us. We went on an adventure every day. They swam in the ocean twice. Like, they had a great time. That's good, at least. Excuse my morning voice. I'm ready and I have thoughts, so we're gonna do a quick recap. It's the next day and I am 134 pages in. I was contemplating DNFing, but I am enjoying it enough that I'm going to not, but just know it's not going to be a high rating based on what I have so far. It starts in February. We are now in June. Every chapter is a date. So it's been 4 months since the beginning, and Lena hasn't talked to Ethan. He doesn't know if they're still together, and it's just so much miscommunication, and she just will not grow up and talk to him, and it's probably for his benefit in the end. We're gonna find out, but it's so annoying. And now he's met someone named Liv who he's becoming friends with, and their friendship is confusing him, and it's very much to All the Boys I Loved Before number 2, the movie. I've never read the books, but he has this summer job with this girl and they're getting along great. His girlfriend's not talking to him, to the point where now he's like, do I even have a girlfriend? And he's just confused, and I'm confused, and I'm annoyed because that's the whole first 130 pages. Nothing else has happened, okay? Not really. And I like Ethan, and I'm trying to remember. I think the first book was dual POV more, but now I don't remember. Maybe it was just his POV the whole time. So I'm not going to DNF it because I am curious what's going to happen, but this will make or break if I continue reading because I'm not sure how they can turn this into 2 more books, to be honest with you. I'm not bored. That's the thing. I don't know why I'm not bored. I'm just annoyed. There's just enough happening maybe on the outside. Like a cat's running away and his friendship with Link and his grandmother and all of this stuff is still okay. I will keep reading it. It is on Spotify, so I am going to listen to the audiobook if I get any time today. I'm going to read as much of this as I can today. I'd like to get it over with. Those are my least favorite words. Should I DNF it? No, I don't want to. I want to keep reading. I gotta go to work in like 20 minutes, so I'm gonna get ready the rest of the way, pack my lunch and stuff. But liking it, not loving it, gonna keep going, waiting for Lena to grow up, and then otherwise I'm outie. That's my update. Do you need to push it just a tad? Sorry, buddy. Oh, how does it bend that way? Vibes. I am about halfway through Beautiful Darkness, and I think I said, like, if she doesn't talk to him in the next 20 pages, I'm gonna be pissed off. So they've been talking a little bit, but I'm still pissed off and kind of confused. Like, I'm not even sure what could happen at the end of this book. I have no idea. I also maybe should have looked up a recap, and now it feels too late. But, like, he's talking a lot about stuff from the first one, and I didn't realize he was so close to her family. Yeah, I'm just confused. I'm definitely gonna finish it. It's not bad. The fact that I would like to keep reading is a good sign that I finally feel that way. Though at work, I did turn on the audiobook for like 0.2 seconds and went, nope, not for me. So that's fine. I went back to listening to music. I listened to like lo-fi music all day while I caught up on work. But yeah, now I'm about halfway. There's a couple things that really bother me. Like there was a comment about how he doesn't like girls that wear lots of makeup. And that's why he always liked her. Sorry, what? Stupid. And I really love a quotable book, and when I enjoy tabbing things, and I have one tab in here, I like got all of my blue ones prepped just to only have one thing that I thought was well written. It's a lot of Ethan's internal dialogue, which is fine, except for it is quite repetitive. I'm finding it quite repetitive. But now for the last couple of chapters, finally, we're doing things and we're moving around and things are happening. And I like Link a whole lot more in this one than I did in the last one, his best friend, which is kind of fun. So I'm not hating it, but I just have no idea what's going to happen. And I actually don't know if I could tell you what has happened because I don't really get it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm halfway through. I am not loving it. I am not hating it. I'm just reading it. It's 5 o'clock. I was hoping to get this done today, tomorrow at the latest. I'm going to keep reading for a little bit. Don't really feel like staring at a screen all night, so I'm going to read as long as I can. I would love to sit in my library and read, but it's so dang cold. You know what I might do? I'm going to look online and see if I'm trying not to buy on Amazon right now for obvious reasons. I don't know what that means. Where can I find a space heater? Canadian Tire? Probably. Maybe I'll go to Canadian Tire after work tomorrow and I will find a space heater so that I can sit downstairs. I'm going to anyway. I feel like reading down there right now, so I'm going to. I need to tidy it up a little bit, and then I'm going to blast the heat and close the door so that it just comes through it's just one of those little circle ceiling heaters, and it's our only room on the bottom floor by the garage and outside, and it's so cold. It's the next day. I finished Beautiful Darkness last night before bed around like 9 o'clock, which means I read nearly 400 pages on a Wednesday night after work, which is crazy. Except it's not, because I skimmed a lot of it. Every time I got to a chapter and I knew it was just going to be Ethan in his head saying the same old crap as always, I kind of skimmed it. I did that thing where I kind of just read the dialogue for a lot of it, and then would have to go back and be like, oh, something important just happened that I missed, which I hate. But I really actually didn't want to DNF it because I wanted to get to the end, because the whole time you're waiting for Lena to make a decision, and I wanted to know what decision she would make. And it was anticlimactic and kind of a cliffhanger that the authors think you're going to want to keep reading because of it, and I'm just done with it. I'm not finishing the other 2 books in this series. I'm over it. I don't care what happens. I might look it up. I think I'll look it up because I'm curious enough, but I don't need to read it anymore. Which Twilight book is the one where Edward leaves and Bella just spends the whole time with Jacob? It's the same. Arguably the worst Twilight book and the worst Twilight movie. I don't remember which one it is. It's not New Moon, right? It's the 3rd one. Do I have to redo Twilight? Hopefully you can't see my dog licking her butthole in the back. Not on camera. Go do it in a corner. So I don't think I have much to add. I think I checked in about halfway. Yeah. She kind of made a choice. I didn't like it. There was something that I think was supposed to be a huge plot twist. Saw it coming right away. I'm rating this book 2 stars, which it's worse than the first one, which I'm actually surprised. So it took me 2 years to read book 2, and now no years to read the rest. I'm definitely unhauling them. I'm done with this series. I am glad I finally read number 2 so I can know that, because I have been just battling the idea of whether or not I want to DNF this series since I read the first book, so I'm glad just to get them off my shelves. I think they are beautiful books. They're beautiful spines to be on my shelf. I'm not gonna have them there. I don't want to split up a series, otherwise I would just keep the first 2 on my shelf and not the rest.
No, I'll get rid of all of them. I'll get rid of all of them. Anyway, what a sad completion to this little week of reading. So I read 3 books for this, and I have nothing over 3 stars, which is kind of sad. So it's good to know that my gut is usually right and what I will enjoy reading and what I won't. So I think I'm going to live with that knowledge and take it with me. And if I don't feel like I should read something, I'm just going to not. If I'm dreading a book, with the exception of something like the first 2 books I read, I'm glad I finished the series, but maybe I should have done the audiobook for the whole thing for City of Heavenly Fire. I don't know. That's 3 series I can tick off of my series tracker, which is good. That is 3 series I don't have to think about anymore, which is great. I got 3 books out of the way that I have been dreading, some for multiple years. Actually, City of Heavenly Fire, I think I restarted reading this series the first year we had Kelso, and we didn't have Rivi yet, so that puts it at about the same time. I think I read it in September of like 2023. So I'm gonna leave you guys there. And I'm gonna start my next video probably tomorrow, and that is going to be mood reading, whatever the heck I want, which I'm so excited to have some, hopefully, good books that I feel like reading and that I haven't been dreading and that I've been looking forward to. So I'll start that tomorrow. I'll get that up next week, hopefully, because I can't do this anymore. Thanks for watching. I hope the next one is a little bit more fun. I'm really sorry if any of these books are your favorites. Everybody has different tastes, and that is the beautiful thing about life, isn't it? Peace out.